Hello everyone, I'm Simon and welcome back to another Magic the Gathering review. Today let's look at Kalitas, Traitor of Ghet. This is a mythic 3/4 legendary vampire warrior with lifelink for 2 generic and double black mana. If a non-token creature an opponent controls would die, instead exile that card and put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield. If you pay 2 generic, a black mana, and sacrifice another vampire or zombie, you can put 2 +1/+1 counters on Kalitas, Traitor of Ghet. Now, back in the days of the original Zendikar block, Kalitas was the blood chief, or leader, of the Ghet vampires on Draz. The Ghet were a prominent family, but in the grand scheme of things, they were in fact the poorest and least influential vampire house. The vampire families of Zendikar have always lived in rivalry with one another. They acted as feuding political factions, each looking to improve their group's position in the societal dance of Draz. The strongest house were the Kalitas, led by Drana, the vampire which Kalitas blamed for most of his frustrations and misfortunes. In those simpler times, Kalitas, Blood Chief of Ghet, was a mythic 5/5 legendary vampire warrior for 5 generic and double black. By paying triple black and tapping Kalitas, you could destroy target creature. If it was put into the graveyard this way, put a black vampire creature token onto the battlefield. Its power and toughness is equal to that creature's power and toughness. In the story, Kalitas, Drana, and the rest of the vampires on Draz faced the ever-encroaching Eldrazi threat. Vampires are strong fighters, putting up a better defense than most, but the long-lasting rivalry between the Ghet and the Kalitas would ultimately prove disastrous. As Kalitas looked for options to save his family, he came to the conclusion that none could survive the Eldrazi Titans. In a bid to spare the Ghet, he offered himself willingly to his new master, Ulamog, who would turn him into an obedient thrall. Rather than protecting his family, Kalitas ended their freedom and doomed the entire continent of Draz. While Drana and the remaining vampires fought for their lives, the newly enslaved Ghet combined with the Eldrazi proved too insurmountable. And this is how we find Kalitas today, as the Traitor of Ghet, and man, do I love him for it. Yeah, it was kinda a jerky move, but I really do like his new card. His original card was of course awesome, having built-in removal and also generating endlessly powerful creatures, but it came with its high mana cost. For 4 mana, a 3/4 lifelink is pretty decent, and you still have the ability to generate creatures upon killing your opponent's stuff, just not as directly. With the zombie tokens, you can sack them to buff Kalitas, but it doesn't have to just be those tokens. Any of your other zombies or vampires would do. Kalitas isn't picky. This card seems pretty decent and I'd predict to see him in some decks, but I'm most excited to see Kalitas, Traitor of Ghet, in some kind of vampire or zombie EDH deck. Zombies plus sacking is just always a fun combination to work with. But I want to know what you think about Kalitas, Traitor of Ghet. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And that does it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, consider giving it a like and subbing to the channel. It goes a long way in supporting future content. As always, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.